Lately, I have been thinking a lot about the sneaky ways creators often trip themselves up. It is honestly crazy how often we become our own worst enemies by over-editing and over-scripting every single project. We end up polishing our content to the point where that raw, original vibe we started with just disappears. For me, the biggest culprit has always been self-censorship, cutting out bits because I worry about looking goofy. That kind of constant, nervous pruning really kills your momentum and holds you back from sharing your true self. What actually helped me break out of that loop was committing to making way more short-form content. It is not that short-form is some magic bullet, but it forced me to stop overthinking every tiny detail. For my workflow, that meant repurposing long-form YouTube videos into bite-sized clips. The tool that made this process sustainable for me was Vizard. Vizard removed the friction I always fought with regarding selecting clips, trimming, captioning, and scheduling. Suddenly, posting became something I could finally do without losing an entire day to perfectionism. A while back, I made a commitment to posting a short every single day for 3 full months. It sounds intense, but it was shockingly doable once I had a consistent, simple pipeline in place. I stopped obsessing over picking the perfect moment or rewriting my captions 10 times over. I let the AI-powered editing tools surface the strongest pieces, did quick checks, and just moved on. The results really surprised me because my short views roughly doubled over that period. More reach, more discovery, and more people finding my full-length videos. But the most important change was internal because I finally stopped assuming every clip had to be flawless. People connect with authenticity, and once I accepted that, my content felt so much more alive. If you are curious how that looks, here is a quick walkthrough of my typical process. It applies whether you record podcast clips, stream highlights, interviews, or even simple reviews. For this example, just imagine I have a long review video on my desktop that I want to turn into a week of content. First, I simply upload the long video file to the platform. Uploads are fast enough that it does not create a psychological block for me. I do not sit there waiting for a progress bar to finish and overthink if the footage is good enough. Once it is in, the engine presents a handful of ready-to-post clips to choose from. Think of it like an assistant that scans your whole video and pulls out the moments most likely to land. It finds the punchlines, strong takes, and those little human moments we usually slash out when editing too hard. The platform even gives each suggestion a kind of signal, or a viral potential indicator, which I use as a quick triage. It is not a promise of a viral hit, but it helps me prioritize when I do not have time to polish everything. I usually preview the top scored clip, do a quick sanity check for context, and then move on to captions. Captions are huge, not because of some algorithmic secret, but because most people watch muted. The tool auto-generates captions from the transcript and lets you edit them like a simple text document. That text-based editing is a total lifesaver because I can delete a sentence or remove a filler phrase instantly. If you have ever spent an hour hunting for a 2-second laugh to cut out, you know exactly what I mean. Brand consistency is also incredibly easy to maintain throughout all my content. I set up a style preset with my logo, colors, and a caption look that fits my channel perfectly. That way, every short feels like it came from the same creator, even if I am chopping hours of footage. I can customize fonts, animation style, and placements so the clips are readable on any screen. Export options are straightforward, and I usually go for high-quality exports so they look crisp everywhere. Where this tool really separates itself is the scheduling and calendar side of things. I used to export batches of clips and then manually queue them up on several platforms, losing valuable time. The auto-schedule feature lets me pick a posting frequency and windows where I want content to go live. The content calendar gives a visual view of what is queued where, so moving things around takes seconds. This means I can set up a whole month of content in one session, then stop babysitting the feed. There are other tools out there, but most of them leave gaps or turn the process into a multi-tool nightmare. One feature I lean on a lot is the built-in assistant for writing captions and short copy. I will admit, writing micro captions and thumbnail text is not my favorite creative task. So when the AI suggests punchy caption options, That is an immediate time saver for me. I still tweak things to match my specific voice, but having a draft removes the blank page paralysis. All of this did more than save me time. It completely changed my relationship with publishing. I started letting imperfect takes live because I knew I could iterate fast. If a clip did not land, I learned from it and moved on instead of ruminating on what I should have done. That is how your output scale actually increases, not by perfection, but by repetition and learning. Now, here is how I actually use it day to day. I upload the master file and let it generate clips. In one sitting, I pick the top suggestions, clean up captions, slap on the brand preset, and export the batch. Then I schedule them in the calendar to go out over the next week, and that is it. If I want to create more variations later, I can, but the initial batch gets the momentum going. For creators worried about selling out by batching content, I totally get that concern. But batching does not mean losing authenticity. In fact, you tend to be more genuine when the anxiety is gone. I still care about production value, like crisp audio and good color, but this helps me keep those standards. It helps me maintain those standards without sacrificing spontaneity. If you have tried other platforms, some feel like they were built for studio workflows that aren't realistic for solo creators. Others are cheap, but force you to do manual exporting and multi-platform uploads, which eats the time you don't have. This tool sits in the middle, fast enough for solo creators, smart enough to find the moments that matter. I don't want this to read like an ad. I'm just sharing what helped me stop over-censoring and start posting more. The bottom line is simple. Getting out of your own way is half mental and half logistical. Tools that reduce the logistical friction let you focus on the creative part and the voice that makes people care. If you are stuck in the perfection loop, try batching a few clips and scheduling them to see how your mindset changes.